What's going on, guys? So today I got the Unbox and Brawl pack from Bakugan Armored Alliance. This is a pretty big box with everything you need for a one-on-one for the basic game. But you know how it is, we gotta take a look at how it's gonna be in the pro game, so let's take a look at everything that's included. It comes with 2 Ultras and 4 Cores, and it looks like most of them are Fusion and Aurelus, so that's kind of weird. But if Aurelus is your favorite faction, this is definitely one you're gonna want to pick up. Now this is probably going to be a long video, so if you want to skip to a certain part, I'll have timestamps in the description. Now let's just tear into it. First up, we got Pegatrix Goreene. It's a Ventus Aurelus Bakugan that, despite its looks, is actually pure Ventus when it's unfused. Looking around the body, I can't see any jutting parts. It's one of the smoothest Ultras I've ever seen, which is actually kind of surprising considering how much is packed in this little guy. Now that he's open, we can see all the finer details. Right off the bat, I can say he's definitely got a lot of joints and springs, which is definitely going to play a factor in how easy he closes. The lime green on the hooves really make them pop, and the lime green used for the feathers on the shoulders really look nice. And it seems to have a solid design all the way around from the deco to the molding. I think Spin Master really outdid themselves this time. Now something I learned really quickly about Pegatrix Goreene is it's very hard to close. It's definitely a level 3. First thing you gotta do is fold in the little back legs up, then fold the front arms in. After that you can fold the back wings down, fold the head in, fold the tail in, and then fold the magnet part in. It's my bad if I didn't catch it very good on camera, but this thing really is not easy to close, and definitely lives up to its level 3 status. Next up, we got Aurelus Barbetra. Barbetra is one of the new non-fusion Bakugan from Armored Alliance, and is based on the queen bee or wasp, which is the reason for the honeycomb design on the sides you see here. But don't worry, they don't seem to interfere with rolling too much. Now that we take a closer look, you can really see the bee or wasp inspiration with the stinger on the front and the little claws on the sides. After getting my hands on her, Barbetra is definitely at the top of my favorites list, but I think I just have a soft spot for bug-type Bakugan, especially when they give it a paint job like this. The gold and silver on it makes it look really nice, and they usually give bug-type Bakugan really solid paint jobs. Now when it comes to closing Barbetra, it's really simple. Fold in the 2 panels on the bottom, then fold in the head, close it shut, and lastly fold down the wings. Couldn't be more simple. But considering it's a core, I'd definitely be weirded out if it was more complex. Next up, we've got Hydorus Trhyno Ultra. It's not nearly as smooth as Pegatrix and Goreene, but it's only got 4 little jutting parts for the feet as far as I can tell. But considering it's an Ultra, you're probably only going to be rolling this on the rolling track in the center, which works out if you're always trying to get double cores, considering it has trouble standing and opens on its back. Taking a look around him, he's definitely not the most appealing design I've ever seen, but at the same time I think this is the best Spin Master could have done, especially when trying to fuse Hydorus and Trhyno. But while I may not be a huge fan of the overall design, I do think it was executed nicely, especially when it comes to the paint and choice of colors all the way around. Now just like Pegatrix and Goreene, you would think this would be a base Aurelus based on all the bronze, but no, it's actually a base Pyrus. Now when it comes to closing him, I'm happy to report that he's actually very easy to close. First you fold out the back feet and bring them forward, then push in the shoulders and fold up the front feet, then you bring the mane down and the horn should fold down automatically, and then you bring up the tail and it's done. Now on the back of the box, this was marked as a level 1, so either this was a lucky coincidence or Spin Master is really cracking down on their difficulty levels. Next up is Trox Sairus. Trox Sairus is actually base Pyrus, so I think we're starting to see a trend here. But in my opinion, the sub-faction being the main color scheme is actually kind of nice. And I definitely think it opens up the possibility for Spin Master to do a color swap for all of the ones like this. And just like Halcor and Ramparian, the magnets on the tail. Now first impressions of Trox Sairus are actually pretty good. He's got a really solid and eye-catching design. especially when it comes to his bright red head and yellow teeth. But the most striking thing about him is definitely his wings, which have a really unique design along with his split body really give him a personality all his own. If I had any complaints, it'd definitely be that it looks like they put all the work in the wings and the head, considering there's very little paint and detail on the inside. Now when it comes to closing Trox and Sairus, it's really simple. First fold up both feet, slide the body down, fold the head in, fold both wings down, and then you can fold the magnet up, and it's done. Next up we got Ryerazu. He's a mono Aurelus Bakugan with a sort of minimalist design. Surprisingly, he actually doesn't have too many intricate details, with an exception for the sort of tribal design down the side and the 3 gold panels on the front. And once we get it open, you'll see that the simplicity doesn't stop there. First impressions now that he's open is he's really giving off an alpha Hydronoid kind of vibe. If anybody remembers him from the original series, especially with the gold on the front, it's sort of reminding me of his giant saw. Besides that, his overall design is kind of giving me a Vicerox kind of feel, especially when it comes to the main head, legs, and his 2 other heads sort of look like pincers. In all honesty though, I think I'd prefer Vicerox, especially when you guys see his character card. I'm not sure how much utility he's really going to have. Now when it comes to closing him, first you gotta fold down the legs, fold up the heads, and fold it down. I really wasn't kidding when I said he was all about simplicity. Alright, next up we've got a Mantonoid Fangzor? Now those of you who were paying attention in the beginning of the video definitely should have noticed that this pack was supposed to come with a Trox X Dragonoid, but due to what I assume is a packaging error, I received a Mantonoid X Fangzor instead. Now unfortunately I don't have his character card, but I do have the Dragonoid and Trox character card, which I think you're gonna like, considering it's pretty strong. Now looking over Mantonoid and Fangzor, his design is actually really nice. I think they really put the best parts of Mantonoid and Fangzor into this design. Taking Mantonoid's head and pincers and putting it on Fangzor's long body really give it a nice, intimidating look. In my opinion, this is one of the best looking fusion Bakugan they've ever made. But then again, if you look at his introduction, I think you can see him a little biased towards Mantonoid. Besides that, I think the colors really fit as well. The white on the tail and the shoulders really make those parts pop, and especially on the shoulders, it sort of makes it look like a cobra head, which is definitely one of the better parts brought over from Fangzor. Now closing Fangzor is pretty simple. Just fold the tail back, fold the 2 back legs in, then you can fold the 2 front claws up, fold the head down, and then just fold everything back and down. Closing him is not too difficult, but I definitely couldn't do it with one hand. And before I forget, just like Dragonoid and Trox, this is also a Ventus Chaos. I think you guys have been waiting long enough, so let's get into the character cards. First off is Pegatrix Goreene Ultra. They have a red shield and flaming fist, and have 700B and 1 damage base, and cost a whopping 8 energy to fuse. Once fused, he goes up to 1300B and 13 damage, which isn't that bad, but for 8 energy you might not want to go with this, unless you're running all fusion cores. Next up we've got Barbetra. She comes with 2 green fists and is 400B with 6 damage. She also has a special ability where if she lands on a green fist, she gets plus 200B. So depending on your cores, you might be able to get a lot of utility out of this. Next we've got Hydorus Trhyno Ultra. They come with an orange shield and a green fist and are 400B with 3 damage, as well as costing 4 energy to fuse, which is definitely a lot less than Pegatrix Goreene. Once fused, they go up to 1000B with 5 damage, which isn't a whole lot considering it started off with 3, but I'm sure someone could find a deck to make it work. Next up we've got Trox Sairus. They come with an orange shield and a helix. Unfused, they have 500B with 4 damage, and it costs 6 energy to fuse. Once fused, they go up to 1000B with 12 damage. Next we've got Ryerazu. He comes with 2 orange shields and is 600B with 4 damage. He's also got the special ability where if he lands on a helix he gets plus 2 damage, which I don't really understand considering he doesn't come with a helix. And last we have Dragonoid and Trox. They come with a magic shield and a flaming fist, and are 600B with 2 damage, as well as having a fusion cost of a whopping 10 energy. That might seem like a lot, but you're definitely getting a big bang for your buck considering what his fusion's like. Once fused, he goes all the way up to 2000B and 15 damage, which is definitely the highest I've ever seen on a fusion Bakugan so far, which is going to get a little crazy if fusion cores work the way that we think they do. Next, jumping into the ability cards, first we have Baku-Cores. It's a 2 cost that gives your opponent minus 200B and minus 3 damage, and features Ryerazu on the front. Next we got Darkest Fist. It's a 6 cost that gives you 13 extra damage. I'm thinking it could definitely be useful in a damage deck, but 6 energy is kinda high. Next is Baku Spin Blast. I actually received 2 copies of this in my pack, but I'm not sure if that's because of the error. It's a 3 cost that lets you draw 1 card and gives you double strike. So it's got alright utility in my opinion, but we'll have to see how it works in a real brawl. Next we have Darkest Slayer. It's a 1 cost that gives plus 200B and plus 2 damage. It's nothing crazy, but still half decent nevertheless. And the last thing we got is Ventu Piercer. It's a 3 cost that gives you 6 damage. I'm actually going to try using this in a deck I'm trying to make that focuses on turbo and damage. Next we're going to take a look at some of the Baku-Cores that came with it. In this pack I got 2 of the same Red Fist that's plus 3 damage, and it looks like if you fuse another 4. For the orange shields I got 2 copies of a plus 300B and a plus 200 where it looks like if you fuse you get plus 200 additional B. For the other 2 orange shields I came with a plus 150B with 1 damage and a plus 50B with 1 damage, so one of these is clearly better than the other one. Now for the green fist, I got plus 3 damage and a plus 2 damage, and if you fuse, plus 2 more damage. It's nothing crazy, but it is something. And we'll have to see how these compare with other green fists in the future. Next, we got the last green fist, which is a negative 3 damage and the only helix in the set, where if you land on it and you're a fusion, you get plus 300B and plus 2 frost strike. And the final core in this set is a magic shield where it looks like if you're a fusion you can get 800B from this, which is a little crazy considering I think the normal magic shields only have 650. The last thing that came in the box are these new gate trainer cards that are based off the old school gate cards. Looking at these brought back a lot of memories and I'm really glad they're bringing it back. Now let's get into some roll tests. That's about all I got for the Bakugan Unbox and Brawl pack. This video definitely took me a lot longer to make than normal, but don't worry, I got some more stuff coming on the way. So if you're interested, I'd appreciate it if you tuned back in, and thanks for watching.